Hello, welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to learn how to find the x and the y-intercept of a linear line. So x and the y-intercept are the points where the graph crosses the x and the y-axis. So if we talk about the x-intercept, we are talking about a point right on the x-axis, right here, or here, or here. Like it's a crossing point of the graph on the x-axis. So one thing that we have to know is that there is some x value and the y value is 0 at this point, because at this any y value on the x-axis is 0. So here it's going to be a negative x value because we're on the second, we are on the negative side of the x-axis. And same thing here, negative x value, comma 0. And here it's going to be a positive x value because we are on the positive side of the x-axis, and the y value is going to be 0. So this is the information that we have to know, that any point on this x-axis is if the graph is crossing anywhere on the x-axis, that particular point is the x-intercept of the graph. Similarly, on the y-axis, if the graph of the line crosses the y-axis, that particular point is the y-intercept right here. So the x value is going to be 0 and there's going to be some y value. And same way, if we are here in the negative region of the y value, we're going to have let's say the graph is crossing here, we have 0 comma negative y, okay? So we have both positive y-intercept and the negative. Similarly, we have a positive x-intercept and the negative x-intercept depending on where the graph is crossing the axis. So the standard point is for x-axis is x comma 0. There's some x value, whether positive or negative, and the y value is 0. That is for the x-intercept right here. For the y-intercept, we have your x value is 0 and there is some y value, okay, whether it's positive or negative. All right, so that's how the x and the y-intercept look like if we put them in a point or coordinate form. Now, if we have given the information, let's say a line passing through these 2 points, we want to find the x and the y-intercept. Well, first of all, we have to find the slope of the line, and then find the equation of the line, and then we can solve for the x and the y-intercept. So let's take a look at it. So we have these 2 points. So the smaller point is this negative 1 is the x1, so it's a smaller x value. This is a larger x value, so this is the y value, this is the y1. All right, so now we have 2 pairs, and we can go ahead and find out the slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we plug in the information that we have. Y2 is 5 minus y1 is 1 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is negative 1. So when we simplify this, 5 minus 1 is 4 on top. And we have 2 minus 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. So you're left with 4 over 3. That's the slope of the line. Now we can go ahead and put that y equals mx plus b. That's our slope-intercept form, and then we can plug in the information that we just got for m. So y equals 4/3 x plus b. Now we can solve for the b. When we solve for the b, we already find the y-intercept right here, because b is the y-intercept. So now plug in one of these points and solve for b. So I'm going to use the second point to solve for b. So the y value is 5, 4/3, and x value is 2 plus b. Now, if you simplify this, 5 equals, we have 8 over 3 plus b, and then we subtract 8 over 3 from both sides. And then we solve for b. So this is 0. So b equals, we have 5 minus 8 over 3. And then we simplify this further. It becomes, we have a common denominator 3. We have 15. 3 times 5, this is 1. So 15 minus 8, so which is 7 over 3, which is equal to 2 1/3. All right. So this is our y-intercept. So y equals, we have 4/3 x plus 2 1/3. All right. So 2 1/3 you're looking at, this is 3, this is 2.5. You're looking around about here. This is our, right here is our y-intercept right here, which is 0, 2 and 1/3. And the only information I'm missing is the x-intercept. So how do we find the x-intercept? Well, we know what happens at the x-intercept. The y value is 0 and we solve for x. So we take this equation and we basically substitute y equals 0 and solve for what the x value would be. So we do that. So let me just do it here. Let me see if I can make a space. All right, so we have 0 equals 4/3 x. I'm going to write it in a regular fraction form, improper fraction, which is 7/3. All right, and then we subtract 7/3 from both sides. So this is gone, and you're left with 4/3 x equals negative 7/3. And then we multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/3 to cancel this. And we do the same thing here. 3, 4. So this is cancel this cancel this right here. So on this side we are left with x. And on this side we get negative 7 over 4, which is about 1.75. So we're looking around right here. This is 1, negative 1, negative 1.5. You're looking around this right here. So this is your x-intercept, negative 7 over 4, 0. All right, let's go ahead and do the next example. All right, we're trying to find the x and the y-intercept of this line that has slope of this and passing through these 2 points. So about this one, we don't have to solve for the slope because it's already given. So let's write down the equation y equals mx plus b. And then let's make a substitution for slope here in this line. Y equals 2x plus b. And then we can go ahead and solve for what b would be using this point, because we know the slope already. When we substitute this point, which is y and x value, we can solve for the unknown b. So we take this point right here and we plug in here in this equation. So the y value is 3 equals 2, and the x value is 1 plus b. And then 3 equals 2 plus b, and then we subtract 2 on both sides to separate our b on one side, or isolate it, and b equals 1. So this is, then we take this b equals 1 and plug in here, so y equals 2x plus 1. This is also our y-intercept. So y-intercept is the point that where it crosses the y-axis. So this is right here. And the point would be 0, 1 because the x value is 0 on this vertical axis. So this is 0, 1, our y-intercept. Okay. Now let's solve for the x-intercept. The x-intercept is a point that where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. So the y value is going to be 0. So once we know the information, then we can solve for what the x value would be. So we plug in the y value. So x-intercept is going to be right here, some x value, 0, where the y value is 0. So let's plug in here, y is 0, 2x plus 1. And then we have subtract 1 from both sides to isolate our 2x. So 2x equals negative 1. And then you divide both sides of the equation by 2 to solve for x. So x equals -1/2, which is equal to -0.5. So this is -1. So -1/2 would be right here. So we have -1/2 comma 0 our x-intercept. All right, so this would be all, and we'll move on to the next videos. Thank you.